Let's understand vectors and scalars. Next topic. Before going to the next topic, let's brief introduction which we studied in the previous class. Basically, vectors are which has magnitude, the actual amount, plus direction. If the amount has any direction, so if this is the magnitude for 10 centimeter, 10 meter, if I give the direction in east, then this become a vector like 10 I cap. So basically vectors is a anything which gave the direction has the magnitude, give the scalars, vectors. And if we say the scalars, scalar is the only magnitude things. Like if we say there's a magnitude, what is the actual amount of it, so it become the scalars. For example, this just 10 meters is a, what I am saying, it is a scalar. Okay, anything is okay. Now we study the vectors. So vectors which has the magnitude plus direction. So let's law according to the vectors. First law is triangle law. Once again, I hope you clear visible the word which I am writing. Okay, so the first is the triangle law, the triangular law. Imagine I walk 10 meter, but in direction of this, say 10 direction of each direction. Then if I walk in the direction of again 10 in direction of say west plus east, so basically this direction way I am going. What I am saying that I am walk from this area. Okay, फिर उसके बाद then I walked in the direction of this. So this is my destiny. If I say where I go, like from the initial point, the starting point, the final point, my overall distance is, you say 10 meter this direction and 10 meter this direction. So if I say that what are my actual, like the total in where I go in the which direction, so you say this, you go 10 direction, you go this direction basically. So you go basically this direction, 10 meter east plus 10 meter west plus of east. So this is actual, this is the actually called the triangle law. So triangle law means, for example, any vector go from A I cap, example, and second vector came from B Z cap. So the actual position from the initial to the final is the, you can also by intuitive way, like you go from this direction and this direction. So actually you go to this direction, like this you go from this direction. So A I cap plus a B Z cap. I think you imagine like you walk on the street and then in the diagonal way, the overall you reach from where, if you go the starting to the end point. So the triangle law basically it is the vector sum of the initial and the final position. So for achieving the triangle law, if the vector is this and the vector is this, so the starting the tail of the vector and the head of the vector. For what is tail of the vector? This is the tail and this is the head. Okay, this amount is head and this is called tail, and which is called head of the vector. Okay, so the triangle law says from this point to this point. So if I say this is the vector, in the triangle law, if I say the vector is going from this to the direction of this, say A vector and the B vector, I told that vector can represent this way, or this way. Okay, so the actual resultant, the overall result is A plus of B vector. So the resultant R is equal to A plus of B. So this is the overall of triangular law. In next class we will discuss the parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay, this is the vector addition. Then after the parallelogram law we move to the next topic. Okay, so I hope you understand what I am saying. If you have any doubt, please write down in comment section. Bye bye.